Today, and I'm keen just to talk a little bit about the SNP record on education, something that, of course, you've said previously is a big priority for you. But according to figures from the government, 3 in 10 Scottish children leaving primary school did so without meeting the literacy targets last year. Is that really good enough?
I think what you have seen over the course of the last few years under this SNP government, the educational attainment has improved. The number of people that are going on to university, and in particular the people that are going to university from disadvantaged and poorer backgrounds, and indeed those that are leaving schools in Glasgow, for example, with 3 hires, has increased demonstrably over the course of the last few years. Nicola Sturgeon has made it very clear that our priority is closing the attainment gap, and I can tell you, right up and down the country, we are seeing the signs that that is beginning to happen. We have a proud record on education, just as we have a very proud record on health, where we're outperforming the health services in other parts of the United Kingdom, particularly when it comes to accident and emergency. Of course we want to do more, we want to do better, but this is an SNP government that's delivered for the people of Scotland over the course of the last 12 years in a whole range of policies, a government that's mitigated the worst effects of Tory austerity. You know, I find it quite remarkable that many of the things which are in Jeremy Corbyn's manifesto that he announced at the Labour conference are things that the SNP has already done. Free tuition, the fact that we've got free personal care. This is a government which is on side of the people of Scotland, whether it's in education, health, or a whole range of other domestic policies.
The question, though, was about whether it's good enough that 3 in 10 Scottish children are leaving primary school without meeting literacy targets. I mean, this is one of the most basic things that, as a parent, you would expect your child to be coming away with, isn't it?
Well, look, at the end of the day, this is a clear focus that we have, and you've picked out one metric there, Sophie. But the fact is, across education, there's been considerable advances that this government has made over the course of the last few years, and of course we're not complacent when it comes to literacy and other things. Then we need to make sure that we can improve our performance, and that's very much what we're focused on doing.
You know, maybe if the SNP or the Scottish Government in general, for that matter, never bothered to overhaul the education and replace it with what they call the curriculum for excellence, we might not be seeing the issues that we currently do see within the Scottish education system as of late, going from one of the world's best in terms of education on the world rankings to rather embarrassing and disgraceful, for lack of better words. But, you know, maybe if they spent less time trying to incorporate anti-racist education into the education system, spent a little less time banging on and on and on about so-called myths of immigration, banging on about so-called fascism without mentioning communism, banging on about Black History Month within Scotland, because that's really fucking relevant, banging on about Holocaust education, but of course making sure to word it in such a way the evil anti-racist educators deem appropriate. Why don't we stop spending too much time when it comes to anti-Muslim so-called prejudice within the education system, or anti-racist education in general? Or how about less time spent when it comes to so-called gender inequalities within the education system, tackling sexual harassment in primary schools as well as high schools, or getting it right for girls because girls are the priority, International Women's Day, you know, distributing period products and teaching all the children all there is to know about why feminism is required in 2019. Rather ridiculous if you ask me, or trying to make sure that we erode gender stereotyping because it's harmful to both sexes, or should I say the multitude of gender identities out there to choose from. I don't know, maybe that might help. Less time spent on teaching children about anal sex and porn might go a long way. Spent a little less time talking about masturbation, oral and anal sex. I'm sure a bit more time spent on numeracy and literacy would go down a treat, instead of talking about how to stimulate your partner or whoever it is you are engaging in sexual interactions with. I really don't think they need to know the ins and outs of how to give head. Just a thought. Or, better yet, how to rim. Sure, that doesn't need to be taught. Sure, there's better time to spend your time. Or better ways to spend your time, I should say. But let's not forget, the intention of the curriculum for excellence was nothing to do with excelling the skills and intelligence levels of children and teenagers within Scotland. No, far from it. In fact, it was everything to do with human rights education, all part of the plan to promote globalisation, all part of the plan to normalise forced diversity. The Scottish Government indicating that human rights education is part of a citizen education, which is identified as an important cross-curricular theme with Curriculum for Excellence, the new curriculum in Scotland. That new curriculum in Scotland is seeing attainment levels, to their own admission, reducing. But when it comes to everything that an education is supposed to provide for children, you know, the basic necessities, well, everything seems to be plummeting as priorities go out the window. The concept of global citizenship is firmly embedded across the Curriculum for Excellence, remember, because that's all that's important, which is the national curriculum for Scottish schools. As such, the concept of global citizenship aims to bring together education for citizenship, international education and sustainable development education. One of the key principles of developing global citizenship education within the curriculum is to develop learners' understanding of equality and human rights issues. Yes, that's right, get them all ready for what's coming, Agenda 2030 and then some. And make links to rights and responsibilities nationally, globally and locally, because that is what's important. Literacy rates, numeracy rates, all of it. Who cares? Because it's all about human rights and diversity, am I right? Still in the sphere of formal education, Education Scotland, Formally Learning and Teaching Scotland, also promotes a rights-based approach and provides significant support to educational units for teaching human rights and active citizenship, drawing from the valuable resource and toolkit centre of the UN. Education Scotland offers a wide range of downloadable material to teach human rights topics in school. Yes, the overhaul of the education system, which we are now seeing the wonderful benefits of when it comes to plummeting literacy rates and so on. It's all courtesy of the United Nations.